So that's why I'm willing to listen to see what we can do as a county to make sure that we're protecting what makes this place so special. Because I know when my husband Rob, and I came here, that was one of the things that we came for, is we wanted to retire in a beautiful environment with warm and friendly people and be able to walk out, hike with the grandkids, and really enjoy the atmosphere and our walks. And so, I want to ask Trish over here for a couple of minutes. She and I had a very, very good conversation the other night. She is a wildlife biologist at White Sands Missile Range, and she really had a different kind of view, I guess. Because it's just the missile range that you take care of, right? I mean, and so, and I had just 2 million acres. That's not bad. And because I hadn't really thought about it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm aware of Wisner. You know, I'm a retired Army civilian, so I know you're there, and I've been on post several times. But I hadn't thought about the absolute responsibility we have to make sure that the environment and the wildlife are treated well. So. You have a couple minutes, you can just say what you do, what is important about protecting wildlife on Wismer, and how it kind of coincides with us here in the rest of the county. Step up here, Trish County.
Sure you did.
Hi.
Well, so I talked to Deborah the other night partly because I'm concerned about what's happening at the federal level with rollbacks and deregulation of environmental laws at the federal level. And I think that the state and the counties have been benefiting from that for decades. And, you know, I'm involved mostly in non-game wildlife issues, so migratory birds, endangered species, and things like that. And one of the big ones that has come up it's been going on since December of 2017, is the gutting of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act.
Right.
And it's leaving very little protection for birds, whereas before that happened in 2017, birds had broad protections. It's hard to enforce those laws. The Fish and Wildlife Service enforces those laws, but they were doing the best they could, and they weren't prosecuting people for things like letting your cat kill birds outside or accidentally hitting a bird with your car. They don't go after those things. It's not in their best interest. So my concern is that we're not going to have the right policies and regulations in place to make up for this loss of federal protection. And it's not just wildlife, it's air and water, it's pesticide regulations. There's, infrastructure regulations that are being vetted. There's an article in the New York Times in December about 94 different rollbacks, and it included infrastructure, air, agriculture, water, wildlife, and other things. So I think that, we're going to be looking to our county and state representatives more to help us fill in the gaps and make sure that we can retain this environment we love and be proactive about it instead of waiting until the air is dirty and we're having health issues and there are no birds in our backyard and that kind of thing. And so I think Deborah is very open, and I think to hearing about how to resolve these issues, and I think she cares about the resources. So I look forward to talking to her more about it, and I have some ideas. You can do things. I've been looking up other county efforts in other states, and there are things that can be done at the county level, like resolutions, best practices. County residents can watch what utilities and industry is doing in their county. There's all sorts of things. And your federal agencies. Watch your federal agencies.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that's what I'm interested in, and I think Deborah is going to get elected, and I think she can help with all these things.
I hope so too. And what I would like to do is and I've already kind of started. I met with Dr. Kurt Anderson and Kevin Bixby from Southwest Environmental Center. I'd like to get kind of a panel of people who are interested in that we can meet a few times before I take office. I don't know what's gonna be happening in the next year about wildlife services, and you and I talked about that. But I would like to be, like Trish said, proactive. We need to get a plan in place to where, when that contract comes up again with wildlife services, we're not over barrel, where they dictate us the terms. I wanna have ways that we can get around it, or ways that we can work with wildlife services, and I think if they see that we're all together and we have other plans that we can do besides them, then they would be much more likely to be open to some new ideas and to be amending the contract or getting the contract that Southwest Environmental Center already has and wants. I don't like to dictate, I like to collaborate. So, I mean, there might be some things I don't know, or I don't understand, how to implement things, but that's why we should get together and talk. And I'm not opposed to having a representative from Wildlife Services. I would like to hear their side. I don't want it to be confrontational, because nothing ever gets resolved if people are so entrenched on their side. It's like what the Republicans and Democrats are doing now, right? They're so entrenched in their beliefs, they're not listening. And there's a lot of people in the middle that want to hear, like, okay, wait a minute, what can we do to really get together and resolve things? And that's what I want to do. I will represent everyone in our county, not just our district. So once I'm elected, I've got to take in consideration not just District 4, which is Sonoma Ranch on up, but all the rest of the part of the county. So I want to make sure that first day on the job, I have an understanding of what's going on, and I have plans in place. And I have we call them SMEs in the military, subject matter experts, where you can get up on the phone and I can say, Trish, now what about this and this and this? You said that, and she'd go, well, no, that might not be right. Oh yeah, that's right. And so I want to be able to make sure when things come across my desk that I have people I can call and that will give me an honest answer, because I want to be honest. If something's negative, tell me. If I'm not doing something right, tell me, because I want to make sure that I'm listening, that everybody has a voice in this county.